Richard Buckley, MilfordMD. Remember, this morning's project is an extended Lipo-Abdominoplasty. We're going to trim off this loose skin here on the bottom. First thing we do is numb things. Our patient's theoretically awake, but she's, I think, sleeping already. All of our patients are wide awake for everything except, you know, like 90% of our face neck with patients fall asleep during the procedure just because they're super comfortable. We play music, you know, and it takes a few hours, so people just fall asleep. Maybe like going for a massage, something like that. The part of the Lipo-Abdominoplasty that we're doing right now is called Vaser. That's a Vaser gadget. It's not hot, as you see. It's also blunt on the end. And what it does, there are little rings on the end. Could be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 rings, with the 3 being kind of middle of the road. I like 3. Occasionally for man chest, you know, gynecomastia, I might use 2 rings. I don't really usually use 1. 1 is very aggressive. And 4 and 5, yeah, they would be okay. But I like 3 and sometimes 2. So we put this through these little ports. They're called ports. I make a tiny little poke. I put that in. I put a little stitch in there to hold the port there until I'm done, and then I take it out. But the little plastic protects the skin from the ultrasound waves, and in case, especially if I would draw out with the ultrasound on, which I wouldn't do, but if I did, then that ultrasound would also be bouncing the skin cells, you know, right at the surface. But we're always, you know, a bit underneath like that. And there are different parameters that we set on the gadgetry and things that I look for. One of the endpoints is how much energy I put in per, you know, like area. Another thing is loss of resistance. In other words, it's smooth underneath the skin. So if I do this, it's not on right this second. If I do this, you can see I don't even have to hold the handle. It just goes in and out very smoothly. But if I move this a little bit to right there, now how did I know that was going to stick? You know, because I didn't go there yet. So I'll put the push on the pedal here, and you might be able to hear it. We have a lot of equipment on right now, so I don't know if you can hear it. But there's ultrasound, very high pitched, and you can see it's also smooth. Now I'll go to an area where it sticks. You see it's sticking a little bit there, resisting me a little bit. Okay, so it's stuck right there. I took my foot off the pedal. See how it's stuck there? And you can see it's dimpling in a little bit. So I'm going to back up, turn the energy on, and I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to blast those fat cells off and out of the way. When I'm done with this, we're going to suction out the fat cells that I've bounced off. See, it's still sticking there a little bit. I'll keep chatting with you, and while I'm chatting, I'm moving around. You can see I can look at you, and I'm not looking. Where would I look? Would I look here? No, that's not where. And you can see little bits of fat right here, like yellow fat. That's not the action. That's where I got in through the skin. The action is actually right here. I'll try and dimple it a little bit. See that? That is where the action is. And I don't want to be poking up into the skin like that and turning it on. That wouldn't be good. So I'm parallel to the skin. I know where I am because of my smart hand. I'm feeling all the time where I am. This is where the action is. And I can do that with my eyes closed. And I can feel, or just talk to you, or right if I can chew gum, same thing, right? And you can see some areas are just really smooth. I don't even have to hold the handle and it goes. And I didn't do this upper part yet, so as I get up there, it's starting to stick a little bit and resist me. Never a good idea to resist. So we just be nice to get our way, which is bouncing the fat cells off so they more easily suck out. I'll show you the suctioning stuff in a little while. So how long does this take? I don't know. It takes however long it takes, right? So it's not like, oh, 10 minutes, we're done. This is going to take more than 10 minutes. Loss of resistance. You remember that's one of my endpoints. So presuming I haven't needed to put in what I would consider too much energy, then we're still good to keep working to get things smoothed out. And basically, I never have to put in too much energy to get the fat cells bounced off, loosened, ready to come out. I put in just the right amount of energy all the time. Staff's monitoring things. Right now we're 6 minutes and 45 seconds into this vasering. Basically, we put a gallon of fluid in the abdomen, almost, to get the fat prepared, and to make things very comfortable, known as tumescent anesthesia. So it's local, it's just here. Our patient is totally wide awake. I'm leaving her alone so she can rest. But you want to say good morning? Ha! She's quite sleepy. That's funny. No, we're not bothering her. We also have a dash unit that's called over there, which is continually monitoring our patient's vital signs. Her blood pressure is 123/62. Her pulse oxygenation is amazing, and her pulse is 77. We also have segmental pressure cuffs, in other words, little massaging cuffs on her calves, and they keep going off and giving a nice little massage on the calves. Helps, minimize the chance of getting any kind of blood clots in the legs. Actually, we've been doing surgeries here for decades, and for longer procedures, it's half hour, we don't need pressure cuffs. But if it's going to be like an hour and a half or more, then we'll put those on. So far, we never did have anybody get any clots in the legs. Also, our patients, unless they're sleeping, they're totally able to move, and so if I ask her to move on this side or that side, she can do that. So she's not just stuck for hours under general anesthesia, not moving. She's totally ambulatory, could jump up and run away right now if she wanted to. Obviously, she doesn't want to do that. Some fun. So I'll bring you back in a little while, maybe show you some fat coming out. That's always pretty exciting. So thanks for watching another episode of MilfordMD. Remember, we got a seminar coming up on the 21st of this month, a week from this coming Thursday. Today's Monday, the 11th of May, 2024.